Jimmy, your bathroom can be used
Okay,
because there's a leak.
thank you.
So
Okay.
We'll let them know.
I already put a sign up.
Okay.
Order.
Sweet. Thank you, Ishmael. So Miss McClellan was late last time because the cruise ship didn't dock in time. And today, apparently, her hair got a blowout and she had to go to this. Oh, hey, she made it. Never mind.
This side is no longer braided. This side is.
It's called Fashion
It
in
came out.
2022.
I don't even know what happened to that little tiny rubber band.
This video goes viral. We've got a trendsetter right here. Please, thank you. Please keep your ears. Oh, hi, welcome. Third grade families. Previous, past, future students. We got a studio audience today right here in Third Grade Magic. Give us a shout out.
Hello.
Woo-hoo! All right, they're here for the story that we're going to read today called Princess Hyacinth, the surprising tale of a girl who floated. And we want you to keep your ears peeled. You can keep your eyes peeled, but you're probably not going to see the vocab words. But keep your ears peeled for, oh, let's do some signage.
Okay, I'll do that.
Not true sign language, but what we call signage. It's a simple gesture to help our students remember the words. So give me an unusual if you're watching at home. If you don't remember, unusual. Not common or remarkable. Oh, this reminds me of the time that I auditioned for American Idol and Simon Cowell said I was absolutely dreadful. Very bad or awful. The word I don't like, one of the words, impossible. Remember, I am possible. Firmly, in a way that uses strength. I know the word strength, but New Yorkers say strength. And I like to firmly pretend I'm a New Yorker. Bob. Not a Jim Bob, but to make something bob up and down. And if you need to notify somebody of something. Oh, come out here, please. So listen for those. Mace, I borrowed your paper. Thank you. Princess Hyacinth.
The Surprising Tale of a Girl Who Floated by Florence Perry Hyde, illustrated by Linny Smith.
If you're in the audience, oh, I don't see our third grade member. The genre is fairy tale.
Princess Hyacinth had a problem. Well, you're saying everyone has a problem, but this was an unusual problem. That wasn't it. She had 2 eyes with a nose in between them, and a mouth under that. You know, the usual things, the usual arrangement. In fact, if she wasn't all dressed in her princess clothes, you'd probably think she was just an anybody. So, what's the problem?
Well, Princess Hyacinth floated. Unless she was attached to something or weighted down, she just floated up, 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 and probably up.
So the king and queen had little golden weights sewn into the hems of Princess Hyacinth's gowns, and little diamond petals sewn into the tops of her socks. Her crown had the heaviest jewels in the kingdom, and a rhinestone strap under her chin to keep it on. As long as she was all dressed up in her princess things, she didn't float at all. In fact, she could hardly move. But the minute her crown was off, her gown, and all that, up, 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 she would go in her royal underwear.
Royal undies. The only time she could take off her royal stuff was when she was in the palace. Then, if she floated, and of course she did, she'd just float up to the ceiling and they could always get her down in the morning. A little picture of her floating in the palace above her bed.
My favorite picture in the whole book. Why can't I float outside? Was the question Princess Hyacinth asked 6 million times. Because you just float away altogether, her parents would explain. Poor Princess Hyacinth. She wished she could run outside like the children who came to play on the palace grounds. Instead, she sat in her royal bathing suit, wearing a seatbelt, looking at all the children having fun.
But if you had to wear a seatbelt every time you went to the swimming pool? One was a red-headed boy who could fly his sky blue kite higher than all the others. His name was Boy. He waved at Princess Hyacinth every day, and she waved back. He smiled at her, and she smiled back. Boy had painted a gold crown on his kite in honor of the princess. Wasn't that nice? Boy had to come over to her window to say hello a couple of times. Well, 7 times. She had counted every single one.
Today, he walked over again. I like your kite, said Princess Hyacinth. I like your crown, said Boy. He turned to go. And I like you, he said over his shoulder. At least that's what Princess Hyacinth thought, he said.
Boy,
Or maybe he just said, toodaloo. Or yike-a-doodle-doo. She could not be sure.
did I hear a toodaloo?
A toodaloo?
Thanks for the donut. After a while, the children left the palace grounds. I'm terribly, horribly, dreadfully bored, said the princess. Dreadful. Flashbacks to my American Idol days. She decided to go to the park. Of course, she had to get all dressed up in her princess clothes first. The weights and everything. The crown and everything.
And then off she went, walking to the park. Well, she wasn't exactly walking. She was just dragging along. Why was Princess Hyacinth just dragging along? What would cause her to be dragging along? Probably all of that stuff sewn into her dress. The heavy weights and jewels.
She saw a balloon man coming toward her. Suddenly, Princess Hyacinth had an exciting idea. Mr. Balloon Man, she said, I'd like to float up there with the balloons. That, said the balloon man, is impossible. No, it isn't, said Princess Hyacinth firmly. If I took off all my princess clothes, you could float. You could tie a string to my ankle and I could float. Oh dear, said the balloon man. But since she was the princess, she got her way.
Princess Hyacinth took off everything from tip to toe, except for her royal underwear, and put it in a neat pile under her umbrella, and left a sign, Do not touch, property of the princess. The balloon man tied a string to her ankle and held on to the other end, and up she went. I feel like a balloon, said the princess. The balloon man walked through the park, and Princess Hyacinth bobbed along with the balloons. It was pretty exciting. And remember, when they say royal underwear, it's kind of like wearing long johns. It's like it covers her whole body.
She wasn't causing a scandal. But alas and alack, somehow or other, the balloon man let go of the string that was attached to Princess Hyacinth. And up she went. Oh, wow, said the princess.
The balloon man ran to tell the policeman ran to tell the palace guards, and the palace guards notified the king and queen. Oh dear, said the queen. The king got out his binoculars so that he could watch the princess as she floated up and up. As long as I keep an eye on her, she won't get into any trouble, he said. Princess Hyacinth floated higher and higher. But hey, she loved this freebird feeling.
She whirled and she twirled. She swooshed and she swirled. She zigged and she zagged and she zigzagged. She zoomed and caroomed and cartwheeled. She did handsprings and headstands, flip-flops and fandangos. I used to do fandangos.
What a fandango.
But they're a very, very complicated move. I'll have to teach you. It was the most fun she had ever had in her whole life. And all the time she was floating up, up,
Up.
up. Now she couldn't even see the castle.
I never knew the sky was so high, she thought. This is... The camera always throws me off, guys. Here's little Princess Hyacinth. Floating with the balloons.
You need to speak kind of a little over.
Oh. Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Thank you.
We got a director on set here. She saw something nearby. What could it be? She looked closer. What was it? It was her crown, her golden crown. What was it doing here? She was close enough now to touch it. Look, it was Boy's kite with the painting of her crown. Oh my! Before she knew it, she was tangled up. Now what?
Down on the ground, Boy felt a tug and started to reel in his kite, princess and all. The king, who had been watching her through his binoculars so that she wouldn't get into any trouble, saw the whole thing. Oh, hooray! Princess Hyacinth has been rescued.
Boy was a hero. The king gave him a bag of gold. Now what? Well, since Princess Hyacinth had had such a wonderful time floating up there in the air, she wanted to do that every single day.
And she did. Every day, she went out to the palace grounds in her royal underwear, and up, 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 she would float. And then the boy would, I almost said kiss his kite, but I mixed up the word his and kite and almost made the word kiss. There we go. Then Boy would fly his kite up, 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 right next to her and reel her in when she wanted to come down.
And then she would invite him into the palace for tea and popcorn. Sir, down there, do you think that would be a good test question for the third graders?
Yes.
We got a confirmation. And then she would invite him into the palace for tea and popcorn.
Tea and popcorn.
Popcorn and tea.
Popcorn and tea, tea and popcorn.
Tea and popcorn, popcorn.
Tea with jam and bread. I do not own the rights to this music. The problem about the floating was never solved, and that's too bad. But Princess Hyacinth was never bored again. Good.
That was a long story.
That was a good story, huh?
But
Another good test question may be, who helped Princess Hyacinth when she was stuck in the air? Who helped her get back down?
somebody from the audience, who helped Princess get back down?
The kite. The person who was flying kite.
Person had a name. What was person's name?
Boy.
It was Boy.
Avery's really been hurting to get in this video, so we'll just give you a quick show of her. Studio audience, do a quick wave. We're doing a quick wave around.
So thanks for watching, third grade.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.
There's our drivers.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for help from our studio audience. Thanks for the signage. We had one of our drivers give us a little signage. If you are watching now or if you're watching later, thank you.
Thank you.
Third grade magic is real.
Now can we get the plane?
Yes.